What gender do you think you are?
I'm a male.
Maybe I think you're a woman.
No, legally I'm a male. It says on my driver's license that I'm a male.
What if I say I don't believe you?
It doesn't matter.
What gender do you think I am?
I would assume you're female.
See, you're making assumptions.
Yes.
I identify as non-binary.
Respectfully, it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
What pronoun should I use?
You should use they, them pronouns.
What if I don't?
If you don't, I would consider that disrespectful, and that's actually an act of violence to intentionally misgender someone.
Here we come to the issue.
How do you identify yourself as a male or a female? What is your gender? Sounds an easy question to answer unless if you have gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria? Before answering that question, let's figure out what defines a gender. According to World Health Organization, gender refers to the characteristics of women, men, girls and boys that are socially constructed. This includes norms, behavior, and roles associated with being a woman, man, girl, or boy, as well as relationships with each other. How about sex? Sex refers to the different biological and physiological characteristics of females, males, and intersex persons, such as chromosomes, hormones, and reproductive organs. In a nutshell, genders are more like a person's deeply felt, internal and individual experience of gender, which may or may not correspond to the person's physiology or a designated sex at birth. At first, I was a bit puzzled with the concept of sex and genders. Now I got a little enlightenment. Do I agree with gender identity concept? Since it's somewhat a bizarre thing, so many people in my country still don't know this thing. I don't agree with the concept, though. As for me, there are only two genders, male and female.
These polyamorous parents let their children choose their gender. And for their oldest child, Hazel, that's neither male nor female.
Please tell us how and why you decided to come out as non-binary.
Because the pronouns she and he did not fit. Non-binary was what I turned to, though I do choose to act and look more feminine. Can I go down now?
Of course.
And 2.5-year-old Sparrow has yet to make a choice about their gender.
Sparrow, do you want a banana?
They're anti-gender, but we're using they, them pronouns. Sure, they have anatomy, we understand it, but that's not indicative of their identity. It's something that Sparrow's gonna have to figure out and then tell us before we can tell anyone else.
Particularly because it's, something that our parents did and they got it wrong.
But giving Sparrow the choice has proved controversial.
Online, there's a lot of angry people. I have literally received death threats. The worst is people who threaten my children.
Yeah.
But I'm the person who's disturbed.
Doesn't this look like a happy family? But to be honest, this family blows my mind to the extreme. The family is in a polyamorous relationship, which is actually peculiar to me. I can understand if an individual can have two husbands or wives, but not with the concept of having two husbands whose sexes are contrary to them. A family usually has a father who is pure male and a mother who is pure female. I call it normal family, but this kind of family is crossing the line. And these parents let their children choose their own gender. Can you imagine how kids know their gender if their parents don't tell them the gender that they have the first time they were born? Like, if you were born with male genital organ, you are absolutely male, right? And it goes the same if you were born with female genital organ. The 10-year-old Hazel, she says she feels and acts more feminine. However, she feels that she's neither male nor female. I think she's already in gender dysphoria, though in my perspective she's truly female. And meanwhile, the 2-year-old sparrow has yet to decide her gender. This is something crazy that someone who doesn't have a gender or cannot decide a gender for him or her is entitled with they, their, or them pronoun. I'm still thinking about where the common sense is. I strongly agree about what people say to them that these parents should teach them the right concept of gender with the right information in childhood. However, these parents teach them with a diverse parenting approach, which is arguably controversial to normal parenting and society norms. Well, regardless of how this family lives with their gender identity, the numerous genders have led to serious confusion amongst people, especially in the West countries. So, how many genders are there in the world? There are actually a lot of types of gender, and here are the most common genders. 1. Cisgender. A cisgender person is someone who identifies with the gender they were assigned at birth. Let's call it a straight man or a straight woman. 2. Transgenders. A transgender person is someone who does not identify with the gender they were assigned at birth. For example, you are a man but identify your feelings as a woman, so you dress up like a woman. 3. Non-binary. Non-binary is a term for someone who does not identify as a male or a female. They might feel they have both gender characteristics, or reject notions around womanhood or manhood fully. Generally, most non-binary individuals prefer they or them pronoun. 4. Genderqueer. Someone who is genderqueer likely feels their identity is not on spectrum. They can be identified as both or neither a man or a woman, or a combination of genders. 5. Intersex. Intersex refers to someone born with a combination of both male and female genital organs, hormones, and chromosomes. And not to mention other genders that I don't mention here. There are actually a lot, and the others are like gender fluid, agender, gender non-conforming, bigender, omnigender, and many more. Sounds mind-blowing? As I've told you before that I strongly disagree with parents can let their children choose their own gender because parents have to educate their kids the right gender which is scientifically proven by their anatomy. Even more, genders may expand over time. And while the concept of gender is contrary to what the Bible says that God created the first humans according to his image, male and female, according to Genesis chapter 1 verse 27. Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 5 says, "A woman shall not wear anything that pertains to a man, nor shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all who do so are an abomination to the Lord your God." God's created order is very clear and should not be controversy because he had made distinction between two genders. Gender dysphoria is a real phenomenon of society's confusion, leading to the rejection of God's law and plan. What are the impacts of having gender dysphoria? Humans are intricate creatures. Without the guidance and direction from the Creator, they may find themselves in a state of chaos and uncertainty, having strayed from the original purpose and roles intended for men and women. In details, we will run into the bad impacts of having gender identity misconception. Some of these effects include social isolation. Those with gender dysphoria might withdraw from social situations due to fear of rejection or discrimination. Finding acceptance and support from family, friends, or society can be challenging, leading to the feelings of loneliness and isolation. Low self-esteem. Gender dysphoria can cause feelings of low self-worth and negative body image. People may feel ashamed of their bodies and may avoid mirrors or wear clothes to hide their perceived gender mismatch. Relationship difficulties. Gender dysphoria can strain relationships with family, partners, and friends. Loved ones may struggle to understand or accept the individual's gender identity, leading to conflicts or rejection. Educational and occupational challenges. Gender dysphoria may affect focus and success in school or work. Discrimination, harassment, or lack of support for gender identity can create obstacles to educational and job opportunities. Physical health concerns. People with gender dysphoria may face physical health issues from gender-affirming treatments or hormone therapy. These treatments may cause side effects like weight gain or changes in libido, impacting overall well-being. Increased risk of self-harm and suicide. Gender dysphoria is linked to a higher risk of self-harm and suicide times. Distress and stigma experienced by those with gender dysphoria can lead to feelings of hopelessness, driving thoughts of self-harm or suicide as a way to cope. What's really happening to this world is the result of our free will that enables us to have free thinking. We should take into account about what we think, feel, and commit. Because of this, sometimes Christians have to say no to what they think and they want or how they feel. Those who believe in religion, especially the Bible, should come to the realization that everything that we feel deep inside our heart is not necessarily right or good. Thus, presenting the good conscience is very important. I've got a few questions for our self-reflection. What if this misconception spreads all over the world? What world are we going to have? And what consequences would befall to us from God? Considering all perspectives, we ought to demonstrate empathy towards individuals who are grappling with confusion and hold misconceptions about gender. Discerning Christians should anchor themselves in the timeless blueprint set by our Creator regarding these fundamental aspects of life, rather than depending on the fluctuating viewpoints and definitions of the surrounding world. I'm not imposing my perspectives to you. This is just my opinion. The choice is in your hand.